I know what you believe disrespect looks like: a raised voice, an open challenge, a blatant slight. You imagine loud arguments or direct confrontations that leave no doubt. But I tell you that popular belief is a lie, a dangerous illusion that keeps you blind to the true battle. The real disrespect, the kind that drains your peace, slowly erodes your authority, and leaves you feeling irrelevant, doesn't announce itself with a roar. It whispers, often disguised as affection or concern, chipping away at your spirit until you're left empty, wondering where your power went. In the next 10 seconds, I'm going to expose the insidious truth behind this invisible warfare, the subtle venom that's been poisoning your life. Prepare to see the world and your interactions with a clarity few men ever achieve, finally understanding why your peace has been stolen and how to reclaim your rightful place. These hidden skirmishes, the invisible warfare you now understand, leave subtle marks. They are not direct assaults, but hairline fractures in the very foundation of your respect. A solid structure withstands storms, yet internal decay begins with barely perceptible fissures. You must learn to identify these minute degradations before the entire edifice of your standing crumbles around you, leaving only dust and forgotten influence. The first unmistakable sign, often dismissed as mere thoughtlessness, is the interrupted narrative. You begin a story, a wisdom drawn from years of life, only to find yourself cut short. A younger voice, brimming with assumed knowledge, seamlessly redirects the conversation. Your experiences become footnotes, your insights truncated, your presence treated as an optional interlude rather than an essential contribution. The senior man, accustomed to being heard, might initially interpret this as enthusiasm, a lack of social grace. Yet each interruption is a microaggression, a chisel tap against the cornerstone of his authority. The narrative, once a sturdy beam supporting his identity, splinters under the casual disregard. This insidious pattern repeats, weakening the structural integrity of his interactions until he unconsciously cedes his rightful space. Then comes the benevolent dismissal. You offer an opinion, a solution rooted in hard-won experience, only to be met with a patronizing smile. "That's sweet, Dad, but things are different now," they might say, coating their condescension in mock endearment. Your wisdom, forged in countless trials, is gently but firmly set aside, deemed archaic, irrelevant, or charmingly out of touch by those who should honor it. The senior man observes his counsel, once valued, now relegated to the realm of nostalgic quaintness. This is not open defiance. It is a calculated undermining, a slow, deliberate erosion of his influence. The benevolent dismissal ensures his emotional bank account is depleted, his strategic architectural blueprints ignored. These are merely the surface tremors, the initial cracks in the foundation. The deeper, more devastating signs are far harder to discern. The benevolent dismissal was but a whisper, a precursor to the true erosion. Now the senior man encounters the delegated decision. His counsel, once sought for weighty matters, is now reserved for menu choices or trivial logistics. You find yourself expertly guiding the mundane, while critical life decisions proceed without your genuine input or even your awareness. This is not oversight. It is a calculated redirection, subtly draining your relevance, leaving you feeling less a patriarch and more a logistical aid. This subtle relegation marks a significant debit from your emotional bank account. Then arrives the public correction, a humiliating performance disguised as helpful clarification. In the presence of others, your statements, however accurate, are meticulously refined or openly contradicted. The senior man watches as his narrative authority is stripped bare, his knowledge questioned, his command of facts systematically undermined. Each public amendment chips away at the fortress of his autonomy, leaving him exposed and diminished. This public dismantling of your intellect is a calculated withdrawal, reducing your perceived wisdom to mere conjecture. The next insidious attack is the comparative compliment. You're not like those other old men, they might murmur, so bitter and set in their ways. This seemingly positive affirmation is a poisoned chalice. It elevates you only by denigrating your peers, implying your current acceptance is conditional, a fragile exception rather than an earned respect inherent to your being. This hollow praise is a subtle manipulation, subtly reinforcing the very stereotypes it pretends to defy. Each instance, the trivial consultation, the public correction, the conditional compliment, represents a profound debit from your emotional bank account. You are not just losing influence, you are accumulating a deficit in your inherent power, a negative balance in your self-esteem. The subtle acts of disrespect are not just irritating, they are financially devastating to your inner capital. The senior man, observing these persistent attacks, feels the insidious chill of emotional insolvency. His once robust sense of self, fortified by experience, now faces a relentless barrage of withdrawals. This isn't just about feeling hurt. It's about the systematic stripping of your internal reserves. You must recognize these patterns. What is the current balance in your own emotional bank account, and how much more are you willing to let them withdraw? But understanding the signs is only half the journey. Now let us delve into why they happen and how to forge this awareness into your power. The senior man, having meticulously observed the subtle degradations, stands at a crucial juncture. This is not about merely cataloging wounds, but about understanding the very weapon used against him. It's time to shift from passive observation to strategic insight, transforming perceived weakness into an unyielding strength, reclaiming control over his narrative. The subtle slights you experience are not random acts. They are maneuvers in an undeclared conflict. Psychology reveals that such disrespect often stems from another's insecurity, a desperate attempt to elevate themselves by diminishing you. They seek to test the boundaries of your perceived authority, probing for any fissure in your self-possession. Every interruption, every dismissal is a small thrust, a battle for psychological advantage in the silent war for dominance. Engaging in every minor skirmish, every individual act of interruption or dismissal is a losing strategy. You cannot win the war by constantly fighting battles you were never meant to engage. The senior man must realize that reacting to each jab only legitimizes the aggressor's tactics and drains his precious reserves. This is not about winning an argument. It is about securing the strategic high ground, understanding the entire campaign. The true victory in this psychological war is not found in confrontation, but in the fortification of your internal sovereignty. You must build an impregnable fortress of autonomy, where external opinions and petty aggressions cannot penetrate. The senior man understands that his value is not granted by others, nor can it be stripped away by their ill-considered actions. His inner world remains a bastion, untouched by their attempts at subversion. This shift in perspective is the true midpoint, the turning of the tide. You move beyond merely recognizing the attacks to understanding their strategic intent, and more critically, rendering them impotent. This is not surrender. It is a declaration of sovereign territory. The path ahead requires not more fighting, but an unshakable resolve to command your own intrinsic worth. Are you prepared to wage this war, not with anger, but with unyielding self-respect? You've recognized the subtle attacks, the emotional insolvency. Now understand this profound truth. Disrespect is not merely inflicted upon you. It is, in many cases, a vacuum you implicitly permit. The senior man, observing his eroding influence, must look inward. It is not their strength that diminishes you, but the momentary absence of your own. This crucial insight shifts the battleground from external skirmishes to the unassailable fortress of your inner being. A secret, often whispered amongst women, reveals the profound dynamic at play. She will confess that the senior man commands absolute, unwavering respect, not through aggressive assertion or vocal demands, but through a calm, almost unnerving detachment. His self-sufficiency and unshakable boundaries create an aura that no external force can penetrate. This quiet strength, not shouted but lived, is the true magnet for feminine deference. Consider the metaphor of gravity. You, as the senior man, possess an inherent weight, a gravitas forged by years of experience and self-mastery. This presence, unspoken and undeniable, draws others into your orbit. People naturally orient themselves around a man of substance, respecting the magnetic pull of his self-contained universe. They feel your density, your rootedness, and instinctively yield to it without you uttering a single command. Conversely, the light man lacks this essential gravitas. He is easily swayed, moved by every emotional current, constantly seeking external validation to define his worth. This lack of inner density makes him susceptible to manipulation, a figure to be directed rather than followed. His boundaries are permeable, his reactions predictable, making him inevitably disregarded. He offers no resistance, no formidable presence to respect. And here is a law of social physics, a truth you must engrave into your very soul. We, as women, cannot, on an instinctive level, disrespect a man who is genuinely at peace with the possibility of losing us. You must embody this serene indifference to outcomes, this profound security in your own company. Your self-worth must never be contingent upon another's approval or presence. The senior man understands that his value is not a commodity to be negotiated. His calm detachment signals an internal resilience, a wisdom that transcends fleeting emotions. He doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't demand, he simply is. This unwavering core, this unshakable certainty in his own intrinsic worth, becomes his most powerful armor and his most compelling allure. It is a presence that fills the room, demanding acknowledgement. Your self-sufficiency is not isolation. It is the ultimate boundary. It communicates that your happiness, your fulfillment, your very existence does not hinge on their behavior or validation. This unassailable inner world creates a natural reverence. When you are complete within yourself, you eliminate the power others have to diminish you. You become a universe unto yourself, too vast to be easily shaken. Unshakable boundaries are not walls built in anger, but clear definitions of sovereign territory. The senior man sets these limits with quiet authority, not as a challenge, but as an undeniable fact. He does not explain or justify, he simply states and maintains. This resolute stance communicates an internal conviction that others, at an unconscious level, cannot help but respect. His word is his bond, not just to others, but to himself. When you cultivate this gravitas, this unyielding self-respect, you alter the very fabric of your interactions. Their attempts to interrupt or dismiss will no longer find purchase because you occupy too much space, energetically speaking, to be ignored. You become the immovable object, and their disrespect the inconsequential force. Your presence alone becomes the boundary, the declaration of your inherent worth. The senior man who embodies this gravitational presence transforms the unspoken dynamic. He doesn't need to fight. His mere existence reshapes the landscape of respect around him. This is the profound shift, from reacting to their maneuvers to asserting your own undeniable reality. He is not defined by external perceptions, but by the quiet power emanating from his self-possessed core. The battle for respect is truly won within. This is the ultimate truth. The respect you receive, the deference granted by women, is merely a mirror. It reflects the unshakable self-worth, the intrinsic value you cultivate within. The senior man understands that external validation is fleeting. True honor emanates from an internal fortress, a self-possessed core that no external force can penetrate or diminish. Therefore, look inward, not outward. Consider your actions, your reactions, and your unwavering presence. Are you the turbulent stream, easily diverted by every slight, or the bedrock against which fleeting currents harmlessly break? Reflect deeply on the quiet power of your autonomy, the true source of your gravitational pull. We confess, women instinctively test your boundaries, pushing to ensure your structure can withstand the inevitable storms. We probe, not to destroy, but to verify the strength of your foundation, the unyielding resilience of your character. It's a primal need to know the rock will not crumble, the lighthouse will not waver in the dark. This journey demands your complete presence. If this truth resonates, if you yearn to embody this unshakable standard, then subscribe to this channel, share your insights below, and like this video. Your engagement strengthens this growing community of self-mastery, reinforcing the wisdom for all who seek it. Embrace the quiet power of your self-sovereignty. Cultivate that unyielding core, that internal beacon. Become the lighthouse. A man's unwavering presence is his most profound magnet.